Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. Welcome to those who visit for the first time. All my videos and topics are divinely guided. The information I put there is divine wisdom, which I gained through my spiritual fighting. So it's authentic, divine guidance about spiritual fighting. It's not something that I picked up from other sources. So it's all original. Nobody has any kind of rights to use my information. I'm not contacting anyone, so if anyone contacts you with my name or my picture or something, these are individuals who stole my identity. They try to steal my work in order to make money on one hand, and on another hand, in order to distort the information which I'm trying to put out there, so people will not gain the proper knowledge to fight their own spiritual fighting. In this video, I have been guided to talk about the process of closing cycles, karmic cycles we're talking about. And essentially, the main message is that there is a sequence that must be followed. There is a procedure. There are rules in astral and in spiritual fighting, which must be followed and observed in order to properly close a karmic cycle. Otherwise, you run the risk of another karmic cycle being opened. For this reason, of course, although you're at the end, so presumably you're tired, you're exhausted, you're fed up, you must always keep this in mind, and of course must keep the faith, knowing that they will try to steal your new beginning, to recreate a karmic cycle, to use any kind of information, connection in that setting to recreate another karmic cycle. How that can happen? Well, if you start a new relation, for example, if you don't properly close a karmic cycle, and God has shown me this about my ancestors who came, broke bondages, but because the karmic cycle was not successfully concluded completely, when they moved on, and God showed me this in my own spiritual fighting, when you move on, although you meet different people, totally different people, not the ones that you have been engaging or were involved in creating bondage on you, totally, completely new people, they essentially what they do, they recreate, because they still keep the same hold on the darkness which created the bondage. They will pull in new people that you bring into your life into a new karmic cycle, recreating the same bondage, essentially. And this I have experienced in my spiritual fighting, because I was doing my spiritual fighting. I completed the cycle, but was not fully closed. Karma was not delivered. And I kept insisting that I want to leave, I don't want to stay, I want to relocate, and so on. And God said, you will go then on a spiritual journey now. And it was a particular situation, whereas I moved out of the city because of these creeps gang stalking and attacking me at my place of work at the time, at my residence location, and so on. So I essentially I was like, not knowing much about spiritual fighting at the time, I decided I sold my apartment and I bought a house outside the city. And I said, you know what, I'm not gonna allow you to bring this toxicity in my life. I'm just gonna move, and I will go in another place, another community, new people, new place, where I can actually live my life as I want, not with you interfering and harassing me. Essentially, the individuals who were harassing and gang stalking me in the city connected with the people around me in the community where I moved. They recreated the same and even worse bondage on me. And unfortunately, because this time I decided to, this happened in 2016, because I decided to move outside of the city. I bought a house and land, and this made it easier for them. And I wanted a secluded area near the water, a lake, and so on. Because I did this, although it was a good decision for me, spiritually speaking, because I could change the environment and had more space and could work with my energy better, clean my energy better. Very soon, in a matter of weeks and months, they succeeded to actually move. They moved, actually. They bought property next to me. They surrounded my house, and they recruited everyone in the neighborhood, and they created an even worse gang stalking mechanism and structure and so on. Then the spiritual fighting developed, and as I said, I kept insisting on leaving, and then God said, fine, you will go on a spiritual journey if you don't want to stay here, because I kept saying, they surrounded me here. I want to stay here. I don't want them to have the benefit of my light, of staying next to me, since they are not respectful enough, and they keep doing this harassment at me and attacks and so on. And God took me on a spiritual journey. I went through 12 different countries. I actually, at some point, changed continents. So I went to Latin America from Eastern Europe. Can you imagine? That's almost half way across the world, and they succeeded then to recreate the same bondage, recruiting individuals that I met on a totally different continent for the first time in my life. Okay, and this God has shown me, this is why I wanted you to stay there and fight there, because wherever you go, since they created, I said this in other videos, once a darkness is being created, there is a process of spiritual fighting in order to cast out that darkness. If you don't fulfill that process, which is time consuming, it takes a certain amount of time. If you don't succeed to finalize that, it will follow you everywhere and will pull into the same bondage all the individuals that you encounter, you meet, regardless of their intentions. Maybe they are well intended in the beginning, but that type of darkness which is being created will follow you, will work on them, because I explained in the previous video, darkness has its own logic and its own strategy and tactic in working on people. They will investigate that people through monitoring spirit and watcher spirit and hovering spirits, and they will find cracks in those individuals' system of belief in order to take hold of them, so they will continue to feed on you through them. So you basically become for them an instrument of spreading the same bondage everywhere you go. This is why it's important to know it takes time. I finalized that full year of spiritual fighting, and God said you need to go back and finish unfinished business there, because otherwise, wherever you go, they will continue to do this through people that you meet for the first time, and everyone you meet will be exposed to their attacks, will be tempted by their offers to cooperate with them against you. And it makes it even much more difficult. So you need to go back to your own house, your own property, finish the spiritual fighting, finish unfinished business there, and afterwards you will relocate. So it takes time, it is a process, you have to stay the course, although it's deeply unfair, of course. As I said in other videos, you do the spiritual fighting, you initially take the power back, you do the healing, energy healing. As you continue fighting and you go through the same type of fighting continuously, at some point you gain authority in front of darkness. And this is the most important step. You take authority in face of the darkness which is being sent to you. Then you're going to continue spiritual fighting, and you will close cycles by breaking generational curses which were created upon you, revealing, exposing, and breaking the bondages with the humans who created those on you. And more often, that happens by you delivering karma to them. As I said in another video, of course, the ideal path is, and God would love this to happen, when you encounter somebody who created bondage on you, that each of you is mature enough to assume responsibility for what they've done, to acknowledge and acknowledge what they've done, basically, apologize deeply and honestly regret what they've done, make right what they done wrong to you. They stole something, they give it back. They spread lies about you, they must go and correct that publicly. And so on, because they damaged your reputation. A damaged reputation has a very important impact on an individual, because your manifestation will be impacted on that. Damaged reputation is a bondage in itself, because that means a certain type of darkness persists out there. Gossiping is not something to joke about. Slander is not something to joke about. This is why even in 3D, in a court of law, it is being punished when you slander somebody, because that individual's opportunities to create, to get a job, do a business, do whatever, will depend on the reputation. If the reputation is damaged, particularly if it's done unfair, then you affect the opportunities that individual has, because that means there is a darkness out there which works constantly against that individual, which is feeding from that individual. So that's a bondage you must break. You must learn about what kind of gossip, lies, slander, smearing campaigns, and so on were created on you, because this is a tool they use actually to pull you down energetically, and to cut off your opportunities, and to block you in a certain situation, not to be able to expand and to actually achieve your purpose. So this is not something to joke about. So everything that was related to the bondage you started fighting, including the slander, including the damaged reputation, everything must be closed off. And you deliver karma. How you deliver karma? Because people are not usually inclined to actually acknowledge what they've done, assume, repent, and redeem with God, do the right thing, correct the wrongs they created. Then you won't be able to break the bondage together with them, honestly, in an honest discussion where everybody is honest and says, okay, we have done this and this against you. We deeply regret, we give back what we stole, we give back compensations for what you lost, and we are now working with God. No, this is not happening, unfortunately. Maybe, God says not yet. Okay, maybe it will happen. But because this doesn't happen for now, you deliver karma. What does it mean? And this is what God wanted me to talk about right now. Because this is important. As I understand, there are many individuals who go through this closing of the karmic cycles, and it is frustrating, I know from my own experience, because it takes time. And of course, as I want justice now, right? Since I know I won, and the karmic board meeting decided that I won the case, and that I should be restored in my rights, and compensations should be delivered to me, and so on, for the harm done, and so on. Now I want this to happen now, right? I agree with you. Unfortunately, what you must understand is that it takes time. What happens is delivering karma is not as easy as it seems. It means that, as I said, you must expose them, you must prove that you're right and they're wrong. You must break the bondage. That means a lot of spiritual fighting with the darkness they sent your way. And then justice must be done, both in spiritual courts, but also in 3D. in justice system in 3D, justice must be done one way or another, either with the help of humans or by God imposing this. And this is so because closing a karmic cycle means that you have learned your lesson as a spiritual fighter. You have healed. You have done the ancestral healing and the DNA healing necessary for that bondage to be broken and for that DNA activation to achieve its purpose, right? You elevated, obviously. So God uplifted you and showed that everything was a lie created against you. And now the universe needs balance. So the entire situation is still needs a balance. That means they need to go through repentance, redemption, punishment. Now everybody associates a very negative connotation of these words, and this is why many people are very uneasy with claiming justice, judgment, and punishment. But what this means actually is that as you as a fighter learn your lessons, also those who have done wrong on you must learn their lessons. This is when karma is being delivered. When the karmics learn their lessons and they understand, because why you break the bondage, so you stop this, you transmute that darkness, but also they must learn the lesson because otherwise they will do it again. And this is not the purpose, because this is end of story. So this is not the purpose of the bondage breaking. The purpose of the bondage breaking is to transmute that darkness, and everyone learns their own lesson. You how to stand up for yourself and to fight and so on. And they learn the lesson not to create this anymore, and that they cannot steal. They must give back. They cannot lie because they will be exposed and punished. Punishment means rebalancing the energy, basically, reestablishing the divine truth. God keeps saying rebalancing, creating a balance in that situation. A balance must be restored, right? And for that to happen, the karmics must learn their lesson. And I'll give you one example, because I know this is very frustrating, and I know it's also difficult to understand sometimes. Like, for example, in my case, there are many bondages created on me. One of them is they stole my house in many circumstances, so not just one time, many times. As I repeated karmic cycles, I didn't understand the bondage. I didn't understand that my own husband will steal my own house and property and so on. I couldn't actually understand everything that is behind it. Even when I saw it happening, I didn't actually understand the spiritual dimension of it and how it was created. So it took time for me to understand. But I'll give you just one example from all the stolen houses and properties which they stole from me in this lifetime. In one case, actually here where I moved outside the city, they stole property for me, based also on lies, slander, and bondage creation against me. They stole property from me, and they placed in what was my house. I had two houses. One was supposed to be headquarters of my business, my spiritual business, and one was supposed to be my own residence. I still have my own residence, but the house which was supposed to be the headquarters for my spiritual business, they stole from me, and they placed in that house I was gonna say a woman who's a doppelganger. She copycats me. She copies everything I do, and this was the purpose why they brought her here, to actually annihilate me and impose her as being me, because she worked for them. So she took orders from them, right? And basically that would have, in their sick minds, that would have given her my divine rights, my gifts, and so on, which of course is not the case. And this was one bit of this bondage that I had to break. It's much more complex than this, but I'll give you just this example so you will understand. And then I said, okay, now how, and God said, you will finish breaking this bondage when you take your house back, when you take your property back, the land which they stole and the house they stole from you here. Of course, the others as well, but I'm talking about this case. And we went through this cycle, and I won, I proved that I was right many times, not just once. However, all the individuals involved in creating this bondage, which some of them were Masonry, which some of them were intelligence officers, working in public institutions, and so on. Some of them were politicians, and so on, because they wanted my rights to be famous, to be in the spotlight, to be, So they said, okay, we steal her identity, we give it to this woman. The woman gets the house because it's next to her house, and this way she can stalk her and steal her energy on daily basis, harassing her. And we take the rights for fame, for spotlight, and so on. You see, so they're sick-minded. They divide your rights among themselves. And God said, you need to take that back. And I proved many times. I broke that bondage, and I proved many times this bondage. And they recreated it one way or another. And God kept showing me, this one is supporting her. The other one is supporting her. She already received, even in 3D, orders to leave that house because it was proven to the ones who created the bondage that they were exposed. However, she keeps finding other individuals to support her to keep staying there. And you will finish breaking this bondage when they kicked her out. And I asked God, I said, why don't you kick her out? Why doesn't somebody else kick her out? I'm not going to stay here until they decide to come out and say, we did this, now we take her from here and give back the house to Dana. And God says, no, delivering the karma plays the following way. Either they take her out and give you the house back, or you stay there and I will keep this going until she destroys all of them, takes all their houses. The bondage which they created can only be nullified in divine realm if they come clean and they acknowledge publicly the guilt, what they've done, and they balance the scales of justice. If they don't do this, then the delivering karma presumes that you stay put and continue your fighting until they receive back what they created. And because they were the ones who supported her to do all this harm to you and disrespected my will as God, who chose you to do this and to give you these gifts, then she will take their houses, they will be homeless, and they will learn not to do this again. So delivering karma basically is that you must come full circle. Okay? That means you learn your lessons, that's the first part, and that is what it's up to you, and it's most important. Once you won the battle and karmic board meeting deliberates that you won, basically it becomes a matter of the divine realm fighting against them. It's not you who actually, you will see that it's not much that you still have to do. It is the divine realm, your ancestors, somebody is upset with me saying this, is your ancestors and God and Jesus who deliver to them back all the attacks. I tell you this, I mean, I've seen my ancestor, I've seen Jesus during this period of time of delivering karma, and I've seen their satisfaction in fighting these individuals themselves, because they got so much frustration in so many years of these individuals attacking me, that now Actually, I heard one of my ancestors saying, I was looking forward to this time to deliver back to them what they're sending. Because you won, you proved yourself. So now you have the divine realm supporting you, fighting for you, delivering karma to them, meaning delivering back all attacks they send your way, all the slander they send your way. And God is showing me now, as I'm watching this unfold. You see this one who gossiped about you, now the entire community will turn around and will gossip about him. He will learn the lesson, and we will do this to him until he will understand that this is happening because he did this to you. And God has shown me this about each and every individual. This has done this to you. Now watch how we make justice to you. He will live the same thing. They had many opportunities. We gave them many years and opportunities to come clean, to correct the wrongs they've done. If they refuse to do that, everything they created or they facilitated or they intended to create on you, it is being returned to them. They empowered this woman to steal your house, to steal your identity, to slander you, to say lies about you, to steal your opportunities and to block your development in terms of 3D. Now, either they kick her out and they acknowledge what they've done and do right by you, or we will keep this going until she destroys all of them exactly the same way as they empowered her to destroy you. You were not destroyed because you were innocent and you kept doing your spiritual fighting. But I did not send people, my people, to be mocked, to be slandered, to be belittled, to be bullied, to be harassed, to be harmed, and to be blocked from achieving their spiritual purpose. The spiritual fighting is because they do this, is part of your existence, but is not what I meant for my chosen ones. For my chosen ones, I meant a very beautiful path of spiritual work. They must do the spiritual fighting because of these karmic individuals around them. So, of course, this is why the ascension, the will of God, is that everybody lives in a 5D type of community, right? God didn't actually send here in order to fight. God sent us here in order to achieve our purpose. Unfortunately, in our timeline and lifetime, to achieve our spiritual purpose includes the spiritual fighting because of these karmics, which, again, I said before, are individuals who insisted constantly to continue to do harm, to continue to accept darkness sent to them and to facilitate that upon others, and so on. So this is basically what I'm guided to say. You need to understand that you must give the time for this to develop, to unfold. And God particularly asked me to say this, and God shows me for everybody. This is a message important for everybody. It's important for those who are fighting the bondage breaking, for those who have been creating the bondage, and for all the others who would be interested. I mean, everybody has to understand a bondage must be broken, a cycle must be closed, and that means each and every individual involved in that must learn their lesson and pay their karma. If they don't do this, the cycle is not closed. You must understand this. This is important because if you, for example, God has an opportunity for you, God has a new beginning for you. God, let's say, because everybody is crazy with these relationships and stuff. Let's say God has the love of your life next. If you begin a relationship with someone before you end the karmic cycle completely, all that darkness which was sent to you will connect to that individual and will destroy you through that individual. Of course, this is so if that individual accepts that darkness, then doesn't fight back. There is a chance that individual, but it's a slim chance, that individual is very well versed in spiritual fighting, says God, and then he fights next to you against them, of course. But there must be this awareness, namely that whoever you encounter before a karmic cycle it is being closed must understand that everything that was sent upon you will create strings to him. So this must be something very clear to all of you, that before you completely close a karmic cycle, anyone who comes your way, it becomes sort of a victim. This is more dramatic explanation I'm giving. It becomes a victim of those attacks. Ideally, I hope, doesn't become a victim, but you are actually both fighters and you reject that and so on. But the message is that the karmic cycle ends when karma is delivered. And karma is delivered when the divine justice is restored and the balance is restored. And I gave you that example. It's either those who did wrong that come clean and make justice to you and give back what they stole, and everything that they created take back and come right, do right by you, or if not, the karma which they created, which is this human being, this crazy lunatic, will destroy them. There is no other way. There is no third way. This is the two ways in which you end the karmic cycle. And of course is the DNA healing, which I mentioned yesterday, which is important for you because that means you close your energetic space. And that is important, so they cannot pull you down again to feed on you, because this is how they get the power. And this is why this message is important for everyone, because knowing what I'm telling you through this video will help you stay in your power while this is dragging on, and will help you close your energy field. Focus on yourself in this phase, because your ancestor is fighting them. God is fighting them. Jesus is fighting them. You focus on yourself, you close your energetic space. And because I didn't feel like I explained it properly enough in the previous video, I must say that closing and healing your DNA comes from soul level. So all comes from trauma and losing soul in different kind of bondages which you are breaking for each DNA activation. This is the end of the healing, is integrating oneness within yourself. That means basically the core of it is a soul healing, which you must achieve, because it is the soul energy which basically stabilizes your aura. The energy coming from your soul level infuses your aura and stabilize. This is the distinction between your aura being I don't know how to say this, not being strong enough, not stable enough. This is when you work with your light body, because your light body is too close. It overlaps to your aura. This is not ideal. Your light body shouldn't be overlapped with your aura, because then everything that is being sent to you, you feel on your emotional body instantly. This is why, going back to my meditation of light body meditation and silent meditation, this is important, because this teaches you how to withdraw the light body, become observer, cut off emotions, because this is when they cannot get in touch with your light body, and your aura doesn't allow them to do this. And that also, if you remember, that also means you withdraw all your light body at soul level, right? So that's your headquarter. That's your power. That's the highest power. That's your connection to your higher self and to God. That's the most important. So you withdraw your light body from your aura, but then it goes exactly at the soul level, right? And when you succeed to generate light from soul level by healing all those traumas, you generate light. So you imagine your soul like a light ball, which emanates energy, which infuses your aura. This is the time when you stabilize your aura. And please keep in mind that even the prayers that monks do, for example, it's lowering the mystic prayer meditation, which I posted a few months ago, teaches you to lower your mind into your soul level, right? Because that's when you gain the most power, you cleanse your energy the most, right? So this is when you succeed to do this, that means you have done the proper healing, and you will be able to close all your entire or energetic field, and they cannot reach you anymore, even if they send darkness to you. And this in itself, it's a process of healing which takes some time, and you must stay focused, not begin something new, so you can still observe your energy, see how much you healed, heal some more, and basically go through tests, and being focused on observing if you pass the test, if you need more healing, and so on, right? So essentially, the message was that it's a process, it takes time, and God will help you in this, but then also you need to pass some tests for God to make sure that once you start your new beginning, they will not be able to recreate this on you. Even if they trick others around you, you are still stable enough and wise enough by now, so you can actually cut it off immediately, so they won't be able to recreate an entire bondage on you. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I'm not sure how long I can still film this. It's 37 minutes already. I will come back with another message, but this is important for everybody to understand, that divine justice assumes that everyone learns their lessons, and the balance must be restored, meaning the divine truth must be restored, and divine will pertaining people's purpose, rights, gifts, and so on must be restored. There is no other way out. And this is part of the purpose why you came here, to do this. So I wish good luck to everyone who is engaging in this, and I will come back with another video. You'll find in the description box below all the information you need if you want to donate to support my work.